The episode starts with Murray, Bulair and soldiers, all of them heading towards the theatre because Murray and Bulair wants to get the Farah blades and coffin of Olbalad out of there because they're extremely dangerous. But unfortunately, after going there, they discover that Farah blades are not even there. It seems Shadia along with her crew took the Farah blades, of course they don't know they are Farah blades, and went outside to promote the play which is going to happen literally the next day. So, keeping the Farah blades out for now, they take the coffin of Olbalad and also some of the broken Farah blades that were just left there. Soldiers, on the other hand, take some of the outfits that are available and they disguise themselves into completely different people. So after completing their quest, they are just about to head out, but they meet Albed. So after meeting him and discussing some things, Thimble gets to know that Taisha and Octis, they just came to the theater and they went out with Hal. So the group decides to just go to Hal's house and meet Taisha and Octis if they are available. So yeah, they go away to meet the remaining cast. So this all happened just before the break. After the break, we see the entire crew in a single panel and it is honestly insane. So many people are in one screen and the most surprising part was the silence. Last episode, everyone were very excited. So there was a lot of chaos. I think that was a good amount of chaos. But this time that excitement has gone away. It didn't die, but it went away a little bit. And this time, every single conversation, it felt like the characters were having conversations to move the story forward. And that was honestly very, very cool. So the soldiers and schemers meet the seekers. So each of them discuss what they have witnessed and what might be happening, why Thiazi died and all of that. And towards the end of the conversation, Octis takes out Kibbanim Kabaz, I'm really sorry if I'm butchering the word, and he takes out the gemstones that he basically collected just before the fight with his cousin. And it seems these gemstones are insanely important or something. Brennan asks Murray to make an Arcana check and she does a nat 20. First of all, we discover that these gemstones are actually designed for a completely different purpose. But the nature of the spell was changed with the intent, the components used and the goal. I don't know how important of an information it is that you can change the nature of the spell based on the person's interest or the components used, but after knowing this information, Murray upgrades to level 5, which is again so insane, honestly.
You are level 5.
Let's fucking go! What? Do it!
And I'm really sorry if I'm omitting out any information or if I'm getting any information wrong. I'm trying to condense the entire 4+ hours of show into 5 to 10 minutes of video, if it is possible to condense that much. So if I'm wrong anywhere, then please correct me. I would love to talk to you. But yeah, let's move on ahead. But yeah, after this conversation, the group actually diverges. So first we get a conversation with Azune, Thimble, Velas, Octis and Murray. Azune requests Murray to take Demidis Blix to Einfasen estate as a proof that Taconis were responsible for whatever happened in Palazzo da Venus, but Murray was rightfully concerned because Demidis just escaped the lion's den and now Azune wants to take Demidis back to a den. Like, that was kind of concerning. So I can understand why she initially declined the offer, but after back and forth she agrees, but on the term that she also comes with Azune to Einfasen estate. And I think it was a good decision, but I wonder how much trouble she is going to be in. So yeah, we will going to see what is going to happen at Einfasen estate, but this was the conversation. While this is happening, simultaneously Hal, Taisha and Kattigan, all of them visit via Aurora to meet the Photarch. And this is one thing that I'm really pleasantly happy was Brennan's way of changing the attitude of the characters based on the environment. I think Sir Philoneus is first of all an insanely dangerous guy. In previous episode, we saw that just his divine presence basically pushed Hal away, right? So he is insanely strong. Photarch, she healed King Gus, who took 70 points of damage to complete health, it seems. So she can heal so much, and Sir Philoneus is insanely strong. So these guys are really, really dangerous people. And here we see the friendly side of Sir Philoneus.
Hello?
Hello.
Well, you can
Like for example, when Sir Philoneus was talking with Azune, he was intimidating and scary, right? But here, when he was meeting Hal and Thaisha and Kattigan, his entire demeanor was very friendly. So based on their needs, they changed the attitude, and that was such a subtle way of showing characters' intelligence, basically. So that was very, very impressive. But yeah, we have a very fun conversation with Sir Felonius and Kattigan, and we have a hilarious conversation with Cruelty and Thaisha. So that, again, this entire conversation was really funny. And then we go inside via Aurora, and sitting in a luminous throne is Yenneса Halovar. The reason why Photarch requested Hal was to make a fucking change of the play. She's very subtle, but what she basically wants to have Halovar presence. So again, this was all about agenda. We saw Kattigan slip up trying to talk about Wickander, and also this was a beautiful moment for Kattigan. After going through all of that journey, I think Kattigan genuinely started appreciating Wickander. I think he was afraid that once Wickander does somehow comes to their home, she will punish him. So in this kindness towards Wickander, he kind of fucked up, he slipped. And that right now is a huge problem because Photarch actually saw right through him.
And if he were returned to you, you would show mercy on him.
Wickander?
Yes.
If he were returned to me, I would weep for joy. Wickander has done nothing wrong that I know of. Have you heard differently? You spoke up, Mr. Vale. Have you heard differently?
No.
Go ahead and give me a deflection check.
So I hope nothing happens to him. But yeah, this was a beautiful way of showing some kindness from Kattigan. So yeah, this entire thing was Photarch requesting some censorship and basically some agenda towards the light and redemption and Halovar and whatever the bullshit that she's spouting. And at the end of this scene, we see Thaisha sends the familiar, the snake familiar that she spawned, to find the angel Etheon. That is genuinely interesting, like what will happen, because we saw right outside the cathedral, at the basement, there are these hounds that seems to have the power to dispel magic. So I'm really interested, like how can she even find it? Like that will be very interesting. But yeah, this was what happened with Hal, Thaisha and Kattigan. Then we move to Bolair, Wickander, Tyranny, Theor and Julian going to Knife and Pigment. There they meet Sul Rekshi. She is such a cool demon, a 12-foot tall demon who seems to have a combination of tiger and bat and mantis. The entire description is so cool. Wickander got a lot of answers, and at the same time, these demons are also starting to slowly get the information that a celestial is basically locked away. Like, I don't know how dangerous it is going to be because Halovar's secret is up, right? So a lot of things can go bad. Like if a celestial is released, the amount of destruction that can be brought is going to be insane. And yeah, almost at the end of this episode, we see Murray, Octis, Valus, Thimble and Azune meet King Augustus Valiant. This was the one thing that I was so much looking forward to, and thankfully I was not disappointed. So the group was able to talk everything, like almost give all information regarding whatever the Sundered Houses are doing. Now unfortunately, Thimble does not speak about whatever happened at the Sloke, like Casimir, Gavendale and Taconis creating these statues and taking them somewhere. She does not talk about that, but the remaining group talks about all of the information that they have gained regarding Sundered Houses and how they are planning to kill King Augustus. So I'm really glad that at least most of the information was shared. These are 3 of the 5 Sundered Houses that are basically trying to kill him. And unfortunately, he does not have the support from the noble families because he is trying to build this Council of all Carls. It's like commoners, all of them meeting together and not complaining, but basically giving a feedback to King Augustus. The problem with this is for the noble families, they are losing power. King Augustus is in a very tricky situation. The noble families, not everyone, but most noble families, it seems, are not happy with this decision. And at the same time, the commoners are being manipulated by Candace and Creed. And it's like he's in a limbo, and I can understand his confusion, but his reaction was very surprising. It seems he was in love with a knight, and unfortunately that knight died during the war against Argosia. So I think there is a lot of guilt inside King Gus, and maybe that's why he didn't marry. King Gus is honestly such an amazing character. I really do hope nothing bad happens to him. But yeah, this was the entire episode 27. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please consider liking and subscribing. If I'm missing anything or if I misinterpreted anything, then you can definitely talk to me about that. I would love to talk to you guys. And yeah, that's it. I hope to see you in my next video. Take care of your health, sleep well, and bye bye.